Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I've got the dulcimer out and we're going to go over beginner embellishments here, okay? So that means slides, hammer-ons, and pull-offs. We're going to go over those here right now, okay? If you enjoy the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe down below. Okay, so embellishments, all right? We want to use embellishments to spice up our playing and give us some really just great sounds when we're playing through our notes, okay? So first things first, I'm tuned to D-A-D, okay? And this right here, I want to call your attention to this. This is the 1.5 fret. Your dulcimer may or may not have that. We're not using that today, so you can disregard it. I'm going to throw a picture up there of one without it, so you'll see what that looks like. You may have just this large space here and large space there, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to cover is the slide, okay? So when we strum a note, let's put your finger down at the 2nd fret and strum. Listen to how long those tones carry on, okay? So there's time in there, okay? There's time to make more noise, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that there at the 2nd fret and we're going to just slide it up to the 3rd fret, okay? That's a slide. Now one thing is you don't have to put a lot of pressure down. And this goes for when you're fretting any note. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to ring that note out. And a lot of beginners will really death grip everything and press down really hard, and they'll strum really hard. And really, a light touch is all you need here. Real light touch. So play around with your pressure there, but when you want to do a slide, you're going to lift your pressure just a touch, just enough, not to deaden it or lift it off, but to continue that sound, okay? So here's what it sounds like when I do it incorrectly. Did you hear it buzz out like it died? I lifted up too much pressure there. I'll do that again. The noise didn't carry over, okay? So let's try it again. All right, now you hear that extra note in there when I do that slide. Okay, so you're going to have to play around with your pressure level, I guess you'd call it, with how hard you're pushing the frets down. Okay, now let's do a slide from 2 to 4, okay? All right. So did you hear how we went from 2, and 3 happens really fast, and we stop at 4, okay? Now, I want to try something different. Let's slow it down, and let's let 3 ring a little longer on this 2-4 slide. Now, I got more notes out of that. This versus this. Okay, so there's variations within our slides, okay? So we can do all different sort of things. We can do sort of a delayed slide where we let it ring, then slide. We can do an immediate, or we can do this lackadaisical one where we hit more notes. So there's a whole lot going on. Now, along with this, we've also got, you can also get extra noise. Vibrato, I think it's called. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it's called. I'm not a technical person. All right, so if you jiggle the string while you're fretting a note, you can get more noise. So we can go. Or we can even bend that string a long way. That wasn't a very pleasant sound. But that's just an example of what we can do. We're going to come to that in a minute. But, so that is your slide. Now, your slide doesn't just go up, it can come down too. So, right? So practice them both ways to get used to them, okay? And anytime you see a 3, right? For instance, try that little slide there from 2 to 3. Just try slides, okay? Try putting them into your arrangements that you use, okay? Your ear is going to help you a lot with this, all right? Your ear will let you know, woo, that didn't sound too hot, Mandy. Let's not do that, okay? So now let's move on to the hammer-on, okay? So the hammer-on is basically your little finger here, your little digit is a hammer, right? And it's going to hammer down onto the fret after you've plucked a note. Hammer-ons can be performed on an open note or a note that's fretted. All right? So for an open note hammer-on, I'm going to hammer on to the first fret of the first string, for an example. And you're going to hear 2 sounds. Right? All right, that's a hammer-on. Okay, that's an open string hammer-on. Now let's do a hammer-on with a note pressed down. We're going to press down at the 2nd fret and we're going to hammer on to the 3rd fret, okay? We've got 2 distinct notes happening with 1 pluck of our plucking hand, right? So that is a hammer-on. Now, you can also hammer on to a string that you have not plucked. All right? I don't use this a lot. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. I haven't done it a lot. But I'm going to call that an alternate string hammer-on. I think that's what it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and play the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and I'm going to hammer on to the 1st fret of the middle string. Right? So that's just some examples of hammer-ons, okay? Now, the opposite of a hammer-on is a pull-off. All right. So a pull-off, we can't really perform on an open string because in order to pull something off, it has to be on first, okay? So let's start right here at the 1st fret of the melody string. And we're going to simply pull off our finger, all right? And it's sort of like a scraping. Just take this and go. And really, you can do that with a hammer-on too. You can practice that. Right? But, excuse me, pull off. It's just sort of scraping your finger off. And you do them with all your fingers. One of my favorite pull-offs ever is right here at the 1st fret of the middle string, and I do it with my ring. In a lot of songs you'll hear that. Because, ooh, you're doing a chord over here or something. That was just an example of cramming a whole bunch of embellishments in one little phrase. Okay? But, so a pull-off. Now, a pull-off is also good with a bend. Right? So bend is just what we were talking about before, where we bend the string. And what happens is when you bend the string, you're taking it from its original note and you're moving it up, usually about a half step. See? See, so what you can do is you can actually cheat the 1.5 fret sometimes by bending. But that's kind of difficult. So, anyway, I just want you to be aware that there's bends as well. So, we've got slides. Right? We've got hammer-on. pull-offs, and we've got bend. All right, there we go. That's some embellishments there for you on the dulcimer. And you'll be doing a lot of these, and they're a heck of a lot of fun to throw into your arrangements. If you want to play fast, though, here's a tip. When you get to a song where you've got it memorized and you want to play it really fast along with, another instrument or something, you can ditch your embellishments, okay? So just throw out some of those embellishments and make it easier on yourself if you want to go faster. Of course, you can get those embellishments up to speed as well, but a quick little tip there, if you're trying to play fast and you can't play it fast with all your embellishments, ditch them. You can just go back to your melody notes and strumming and things like that. Okay. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, got something out of it. And before I go, I always want to remind you that Jesus loves you. Bye-bye, y'all.